Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Progressive Overload Podcast. Have you ever thought about strengthening multiple areas of your life at the same time? Then you've come to the right place. Our goal is to help you identify ways that you might need a progressive overload to break through those plateaus and keep you growing. Zdravo, listeners. That is hello in Slovenian. I finally learned it. You guys are welcome.
That was the cheesiest intro
Zdravo.
I've
Bless
ever
you.
heard.
Well, welcome to the Progressive Overload Podcast. We're so glad that you decided to join us today wherever you are. We're so glad that you're tuning in and listening. Hopefully we can give you some sort of benefit in your life one way or the other. I'm joined by two beautiful men, Dustin Moore and Adam Lazarine.
Wow.
I know.
I appreciate that.
See, I was a little bit mean last week and I called you a dinosaur old man, and so I kind of, and Dustin, you and I are always busting each other, so I figured
now
that'd be
I'm
nice.
beautiful.
Well, you know what? From the both of us, thank you for stating the obvious.
And not calling yourself that.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Man. Well, how are you all this week?
Dude, I am rested. I am relaxed.
Yeah.
Back from vacation. Ready to jump back into life, man.
Awesome.
Is that why you're wearing a
good.
quicksand shirt?
It's the polo of the day.
Okay, polo of the day.
Polo of the day. And do I have a reasoning? Absolutely not. But yeah, Joe, it's been good. Finally back in the gym a little bit.
Yeah.
Working in, attempting some PRs.
Yeah. PR, baby.
Yeah, PR or ER, since the hospital is next to where we work out. Haha. And, you know, have had some failure.
Yeah.
Been frustrated.
That's good, though.
Failure is PRing is impossible without failure.
Listen,
There you go.
been frustrated.
Yeah.
Been motivated. It's
See?
happening. It's
Well,
happening.
good.
I'm calling it. I'm shooting my shot.
Uh-oh.
I'm pointing to the
Here we go.
fence.
Okay.
It's gonna happen within the next
Week.
Give us a day,
week
Dustin,
and a
come
half.
Week and a half. Okay.
We'll go with week and a half, but I think I can do it in a week. I almost hit it yesterday.
I know.
I sent
You
you
were
the
so
video.
close.
Yeah.
I was deadlifting. I had 315 conventional deadlift. Second time I've ever attempted it. Second time I've ever tried to push higher than 135, actually.
Literally.
And
Wow.
yeah,
That's a big jump there, Dustin.
So listen, I've been doing 135 as a part of my scheduled workouts,
Yeah.
and last week I just got this itch to see, I wonder what I can actually do conventional. Pulled 275. It was super easy. Attempted 315. The weight was still moving fast. I just couldn't quite extend and lock
It's that
out.
second half of that workout. Or that lift.
And yesterday, I pretty much had it. It was there. I just could not get that last little bit to lock out.
You got to finish.
And so, but it moved better. I didn't feel anything pull, and I didn't collapse or feel like
Yeah,
I
that's good.
was dropping my shoulders this time, which was nice. So I put a little extra work in, did some rack pulls and stuff just to try and work up to it.
Yeah.
Could not rack pull 315. Just could not do it. So I dropped it and kind of worked my way down, doing a few reps at various weights until I dropped it down.
Good for you, Dustin.
That's good.
It felt good. I'm excited. I'm excited to not only get back at it, but start to find that point of failure again,
Mm-hmm.
to really find out, okay, like how much have I dropped back on how far I could go.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised to find out the answer really is not much. Like I'm still able to do pretty close to what I was able to. The energy level I have afterwards, maybe not there as much.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just excited to be back.
That's what I love about building muscle is after you put in the work of putting on muscle, it's hard to lose it. You have to undereat like crazy and take like a couple months off before you actually lose a physical muscle. And so that's why I love it because, cardiovascularly, once you put in the work to gain cardiovascular fitness, you can lose it
So
really
good.
quickly, and you can gain it back quickly, but you lose it a lot faster.
Speaking of cardiovascular and growing in that way, we have a fun topic that I'm going to enjoy because I get to sit at this table, and for the first time, my preference, the thing that I stand by the most, that is cardio. I get to hear both of you give compliments to instead of hating on me.
Okay, look.
Wait a minute.
That might have been an exaggeration.
A little bit.
Maybe.
Get off your cardio horse.
Literally.
Listen, if I was on a horse, I don't think that would be very effective cardio.
For the horse, it would be.
I'm on a treadmill. Thank you.
No, so I feel like I've gained this
Stigma.
That's the word. I kept saying mantra, and I was
You're
like,
welcome.
that does not. make sense.
That would not be the word.
Stigma. I've gained this stigma of being an anti-cardio trainer, and it's false. But I want to explain myself today, basically, and talk about whenever I like to joke about being anti-cardio. Maybe that's why I got the stigma, but
that would make sense.
That would help. Yeah,
it's my fault, 100%.
So now that we're putting Joe on trial for hating cardio, and I feel like I give you. I joke with you a little bit about this, about not liking cardio, and it really is like I paint the picture that you don't, but it's not quite as
when I am talking about it. I'm going to paint the picture of the person that I'm talking to when I speak against cardio.
Okay.
This is the close your eyes and
Visualizing it.
visualize this.
Okay.
Crap, I need to lose weight.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go buy some Asics or some Brooks or some nice shoes.
Yeah.
Okay. Or let me go to some running shop and have them get me some perfect running shoes. I haven't ran in 10 years, but I think I'm going to be a professional now. Okay, let's cut my calories back by about 1,000 calories. I'm going to eat 800 calories a day. Okay. And then let's just run as long as I can. And then that's going to be my program. So that's the people that I'm trying to talk to, is the people that when they want to lose weight, when they want to lose fat, they're going straight to cardio, hit the pavement, hit the elliptical for 2 hours, whatever that looks like. And so I'm not talking to the person that's doing some stuff like that, but also doing strength training. And so that's,
So they have a poor relationship with cardio.
Yes, a very poor relationship with cardio. Very good point.
Sure.
And those that see cardio as a means to burning calories, which is not effective.
Okay,
and
so
I've talked about this before.
Totally was not where I started.
Yeah.
Totally not.
Not at all.
Maybe.
Well,
okay.
So what do we need to know about cardio? Is this something where I can like hit the treadmill and go, I'm going to PR today in cardio? Since we started the show with PR goals.
Probably shouldn't start there.
Probably shouldn't start there, okay? Because then I can.
Let's I told you we're not supposed to do cardio as a means to burning calories, but let's talk about what the physical benefits, physiological benefits of cardio are. So, obviously, to improve the health of your heart and your lungs. That's I feel like most people should know that. But we're improving the effectiveness of our heart and how much blood it pumps out, how fast it recovers, and the lungs, the lung capacity, how much oxygen our lungs can hold, and how much they're effectively pushing out. And so, but cardiovascular health is quantified by what's called the VO2 max. Do y'all have any clue what that is?
Something oxygen.
Oh, don't ask me what VO2 stands for. I just know it's called VO2 max. Volatile oxygen times 2.
I totally thought you were trying to get me to spell out what the acronym means.
Oh, yeah. No.
Maybe it's how you spell hello in Slovenian.
Yeah. Yeah. One of you with the computer.
If I had to guess, it was some form of measurement.
Yeah. So it's measuring how well our body utilizes, or our heart and lungs utilize the oxygen that we take in. So
measuring how well it uses
how well it uses it. So it quantifies a number of how many liters per kilogram of body weight, blah 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 blah, of oxygen that you can utilize during your workout. So the better you get, you're able to utilize the oxygen better. The worse VO2 max you have, your body doesn't utilize the oxygen as good. And so I'm not going to get too much deeper into that, mainly because I'm not just super well versed in it. I'm I know how to measure it and I know how to do all that fun stuff, but I haven't done it in a long time.
So according to the internet, you can sum it up with oxygen consumption.
Oxygen consumption. There you go.
How your body does oxygen consumption.
There you go.
Okay.
Cool. And then there's other physiological benefits like building your bone health. So if you're osteoporosis or almost there or whatever, and you get bad scores, cardio is going to help put some stress on those bones. But that doesn't mean strength training isn't going to do better things for your bones than cardio, but it is a benefit. So what are the types of cardio? Do y'all know?
I know one.
Yeah.
HIIT cardio.
HIIT. Yeah. We'll talk about that.
I personally have done some HIIT programs in. Now, this was back during my days of poor relationship with cardio fitness, but I did some HIIT cardio as just strictly a means to lose weight.
Yeah.
And it's not as intense as real HIIT cardio is how I describe it.
Right.
I mean, my HIIT cardio and their HIIT cardio was vastly different paces, but the intensity with which I did that type of program. What is HIIT cardio stand for?
High intensity interval training. It's basically defined as short bursts of exercise followed by short periods of rest. And so there's a lot of different ways that people can work through that. There's a form of that called Tabata, which is basically like you work for 20 seconds, you rest 10 seconds. You work for 20 seconds, you rest for 10 seconds. They're really popular, like boot camp type format. But there's a bunch of different ways that you can do it, whether it's like an AMRAP, which there's all these acronyms, but as many rounds as possible. So you get a couple exercises and you do that over and over and over for a set amount of time, usually like 15, 20 minutes.
If you've ever been a part of a Tabata workout, you start to loathe that timer.
Yes.
Because it buzzes or whatever's going on over the loudspeaker. So you know when to start your work and when to stop your work and when to rest. And man, you just go, oh, it's coming. Yes. It's a little bit of anxiety. My answer to your question about types of cardio is a little more remedial, I think. I think of what types of cardio. There's running, walking, swimming.
Right. No, that's a good answer. And that's what I would what I would put those under the umbrella is called LISS, which is LISS, which stands for low intensity steady state. So steady state cardio is just like what you're talking about. You're swimming at a steady state for a long period of time. You're running, cycling, stuff like that for steady state. Yeah.
Steady state.
So that's what LISS stands for. That's kind of the typical one that people go to. I'm just going to go hit the treadmill or hit the pavement, and I'm going to jog for 3, 10, 12, 27 miles, whatever it looks like.
So when you're doing a LISS, a low intensity
steady
state. Did I get it right? Low intensity steady state. That's a new acronym for me.
Okay.
When you're doing that, do you want to go for time or distance or both, or does it matter?
It just depends on your goals. If your goal is to run the furthest as possible, focus on distance. If you're trying to see how fast you can run a 5K, obviously you're going to be running for time then. And so it kind of just depends on your goal.
So it's still low intensity if I'm running?
Yeah, so basically maintaining a heart rate. Most people, if they're doing...
as long as the heart rate is staying steady.
Usually, yeah. Like if you're doing a 5K, I don't do it. So you have paces that you run if you're running at a set pace the entire time.
Especially when you see a hill.
Yeah.
Right. So you're going to hit your cruising altitude with these.
Basically, the very good way.
You're going to get to the speed that you're going, and you're going to stay there for as long as you can.
Pretty much,
until your body starts to let you down.
Exactly. So versus HIIT, you're going to be bringing your heart rate to a maximal level, and then during your rest you bring it back down, and then you raise it back up, and then you lay it back down.
So for me, if I run a 5K, regardless of what the pace is, as long as I'm keeping my heart rate relatively, the same, I'm in that steady state, and it's low intensity.
Yeah.
To where if I hopped on a treadmill and did like sprints.
Yeah, that would be more. That would be
HIIT.
Considered HIIT.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Same thing for swimming, because I swim, and so if I get into that groove, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
You just kind of hit your stride, and it just happens to be in the water, and I just keep swimming at that pace or try to keep that pace. I can go for a long time, but usually towards the end I'll try to kick and runners will do that. You'll try to sprint to the end.
Yeah.
And then you're changing from list to something else.
Yeah.
But for the benefits of cardio, I don't see much difference in the benefit. Is there much difference in the benefit?
Not really.
Okay.
I think we've talked about this before. Whenever like a physician or a cardiologist measures heart rate, what they're looking for is how fast your heart recovers. You brought that up before. And so that's why HIIT training is a little bit better for that, because it's kind of practicing that heart rate recovery by bringing it up as high as you can and then resting and letting it lower and then bringing it up as high as you can. And so that's really good for the heart to go through.
Okay.
The last one I want to talk about is NEAT. This stands for non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Basically, this is quantified as just everything you do outside of purposed exercise. So if you fidget, right here, you're bouncing your leg.
As I always do.
You're burning calories at a little bit higher rate than Adam, who's staying still. Or if you take the stairs at work, or if you park further away from the front door of the gas station or the grocery store, or kind of stuff like that, where it's not planned and purposed exercise, but it's something that you're doing to actually be a little bit more active than you would if you weren't.
Sure. So I know for me, whenever I first started looking at what I could do to lose weight, one thing that I found, different articles and websites and things that I watched and listened to, was to look at your daily step count and increase it.
Yeah.
So for me to set out, even though it's purposed and I'm planning, I'm going to increase my step count throughout the day. Yeah. That, regardless of how I do it, falls under more of this NEAT category.
Exactly. Very good point.
So how does that constitute cardiovascular wellness? I mean, because it doesn't seem like you're doing anything to stimulate your heart rate. By walking an extra 100 steps, my heart rate's not going to go up or down. Technically.
Yeah, some people it does though. If you're walking up a flight of stairs, some people that kills them.
That's very true.
So stuff but for us, it would be like getting up from your desk a couple times a minute or a couple times an hour and going for a 5-minute walk, and just kind of getting up, moving, get your blood pumping, your blood flow, get back down to your legs, and so that's more of a blood flow type thing rather than getting your heart going.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go.
Cool.
Lots of acronyms today.
I know.
So what have we learned?
HIIT, NEAT,
LIS,
Tabata.
NEAT. Tabata, is that an acronym?
Yeah, but don't ask me what it is.
Okay. Tabata. AMRAP.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got the
VO2.
5 acronyms. Yeah. Do you have any steps that we can do to approach things in a better way?
Yeah, so I want to talk about, knowing all of that information and how we shouldn't approach cardiovascular fitness. Let's talk about 5 proper ways that we should approach cardiovascular fitness. And I heard this statement on a podcast, and I love it so much. I don't mind plugging another podcast. It's called Mind Pump. I listen to them all the time. They're kind of what stemmed they stemmed my interest in podcasting, and I've learned a lot from them. So after you listen to all of our episodes, go listen to Mind Pump, because you'll get a lot of good information from them. But he said strength has to be the foundation for all physical pursuits. And so if we think about that, the umbrella of physical pursuits, whether that's wanting to become a better runner, a better swimmer, a better biker, a better dad, a better whatever that falls into, being strength has to be the foundation of anything that we want to do physically. And so just as you're doing cardio, if you are wanting to become more cardiovascularly healthy, strength training has to be the groundwork for that. Would you all agree?
I do.
Yes.
That's right. Even Dustin. Your running has probably improved since your strength has improved.
Oh, for sure. And then
it has. In fact, I told you, I did a little jogging. Maybe it was last week. You were working out whenever I was doing it, and I got to the last minute, because I was doing 10 minutes just to warm up before I did any lifting. And I got to the last minute, and I said, I'm gonna push and see what I can do speed wise. And the last minute I held about a 7-minute mile.
Nice.
And which for me is a minute and 45 less than my personal best. Now, do I think I could hold it the full 7 minutes? I don't think so. I don't think I'm quite there yet. Yeah. But it was an improvement speed wise as far as what I had been able to do like at the top end before. And so I can say that the strength training I've done kind of laid the groundwork for my physical pursuit of improving my running, which is something that I enjoy.
Yeah. Right. So always back to strength training.
For sure. I mean, if you want to jump faster, if you want to jump higher, run faster, hit harder, I mean, on the athlete perspective, the first step is always get stronger.
Okay.
So,
all right. So that's step 1 to a proper approach, strength. Step 2, let's have it.
I want to explain the difference between conditioning and endurance.
Okay.
So I am my certification is I am a certified strength and conditioning specialist. So I love the strength part. Let's talk about the conditioning part. And so as I quantify or I define conditioning as becoming physically capable to do the demands asked of me, basically. So in the athlete's perspective, I condition them in order to make them physically capable of withstanding 4 quarters or withstanding, an entire soccer match or soccer game, right?
Thank you for the reference.
I know I had to.
Yeah. Appreciate you.
Dude, soccer athletes are insane. But
they are. I would know.
I know. They are one of the highest conditioned athletes in all of the world.
I'm sorry. I'm laughing at Dustin off camera. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I love his confidence.
I do too.
Keep going.
I'm glad you guys think it's real.
So go ahead.
To meet the need of whatever the sport or activity requires.
Yeah.
That's being conditioned.
For non-athletes, what that looks like is us. I want to be physically conditioned.
Thank you. So let me get this straight.
Speak for yourself. Adam and I are.
I am a beautiful non-athlete.
Yes.
Okay. Just to get that out of the way.
Speak for yourself. Adam and I are athletic specimens, honestly.
We are has-beens, guys. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't lump me in with you.
All right, Adam, you and I are has-beens.
You might be. I never was. Thanks for that.
Yeah. So for non-participating athletes, because that's us, what that looks like is I want to be conditioned enough to not get winded chasing my daughter through our little loop in our house that we have. We love to play. Yeah. This weekend she bought a Black Panther mask, and so I had to be the bad guy, and I had to chase Black Panther around the house for like 7 hours straight, and it was exhausting, but I was physically capable of doing that because I was conditioned to do that.
Excellent.
Sweet.
So whatever that looks like in your life, you're conditioned enough to withstand daily demands.
So I do have a question.
Yeah.
I have seen all over social media, I know it's become a big thing as far as what I see content-wise, advocating plyometrics in way of helping you to grow.
I'm about to go off.
I'm ready. I knew it would. I knew I was pressing the button on this one.
Do you want me to step in here so you don't have to go off?
So I guess my chief question is, because I see the plyometrics and things that people do, but I don't see them lifting as a part of these. And so where does that fall into? Is that a form of cardio training?
Dude, thank you for answering this.
What is...
Okay.
Hit us with
plyometrics. Okay, when I look at exercises, I like to go back and, like I've mentioned before, I like to look at where they were invented, why they were invented, and what they're made for. Plyometrics were never intended to be cardiovascular exercise.
Okay.
When a plyometric becomes cardiovascular exercise, it becomes dangerous and it becomes no longer beneficial. Plyometric exercises are supposed to be high maximal bursts of energy, of movement, such as jumping onto a box or doing stuff like that. When you see people like CrossFit and stuff like that doing they're doing cardio, doing box jumps, that's when you get broken shins and you leave skin on the box, basically.
So it's not a form of cardio, but it does have a role potentially within, like...
People use it as a form of cardio, but it should not be.
Okay, but it should not be.
What's your opinion, Adam?
I think that very few people in the world, even in athletics, you're talking about the 1%ers, need P90X and plyometrics. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, unless you're an athlete.
I mean, unless you are in that 1% category, plyometrics are functional for them. That's part of their conditioning. Yeah. Because they need to be able to do those explosive movements for their
change
activity.
Of direction.
Yeah. And so if you need that and you're in that 1% category, go for it. Yeah. Knock yourself out. Please don't on the box. But you know what I mean.
Don't knock yourself out.
You will knock yourself out.
To clarify, do not knock yourself out literally.
Right. The rest of the world, the general population, plyometrics can be fun for a very short frequency. Yeah. You need maybe once every 6 months you can try one. Yeah. But, man, you can get hurt so easily.
So for, like, somebody who is a professional athlete, they might be able to use these things as a form of conditioning for certain scenarios or certain things that they face within their sport. Sure.
Absolutely.
So it does have a role that it plays, but just strictly a form of cardio for the average everyday
person.
No.
Yeah, and just because you see 25 reels in a row of somebody doing plyometrics doesn't mean that that's what everybody else is doing.
Exactly.
Now, to clarify, the reels and videos and things that I've been seeing were geared towards athletes using those to prepare themselves for their sport. It's like somebody who plays basketball doing box jumps because they jump for rebounds. Those sorts of things. Yeah. But and trying to use that as a way to train to jump higher and perform better as an athlete. Yeah. That was the context in which they were doing it, not necessarily doing it as a way of cardio to say, oh, burn these calories. Right. But I wanted to, when you mentioned the conditioning part, it brought it to mind of does that play a role within cardio itself?
Gotcha.
So conditioning within cardio is more so us preparing ourselves to last through, like you said, the 4 quarters or the whatever in context of our sport or for the non-athlete, the day-to-day life.
Yeah.
So what is the difference then? I know you're getting to this, but what is the difference between that and endurance?
Yeah, so when I think about endurance, I'm thinking about somebody who's a runner or a cyclist, and they're specifically training to last a certain amount of time or run or cycle for a certain amount of distance. That's not necessarily going to transfer over to functional fitness in day-to-day life. So you can basically break it down between day-to-day functional fitness, functional cardiovascular fitness, and performance.
Okay.
Yeah.
So almost the conditioning is where we have that short burst of if I think of myself as lasting for a full soccer match or for 4 quarters of a football game, there is kind of this give and take of I'm at max and then I'm not, and then I'm at max and then I'm not, to where endurance and performance of lasting these long periods of time is I'm pushing myself to stay at that max for as long as possible.
And how many times in real life are we having to meet that demand?
Very few.
How many times are you just going to out of nowhere take off on a 20-mile run? But how many times in your real life are you going to have to go build a fence, repair a fence, or fix your roof, or do something functional?
On the dryer.
So just stuff like that requires physical fitness.
Okay, I've wondered how those two connected or were different. That helps a lot.
So when you roll out of bed, tomorrow, Dustin, don't play The Floor is Lava. That you don't need your plyometrics,
jumping from the couch to the
I'll play
chair.
I'll play leapfrog by myself.
Okay, all right, just to throw that in there. I'm sorry. Keep it going.
Yeah. So point 3, I wanted to discuss the benefits of HIIT. So we talked about what that is already. But studies have shown that HIIT exercise can, at minimum, maintain muscle mass, but also in some cases can help you gain muscle mass.
Yeah.
And so all of these are helping us avoid the loss of muscle through cardio.
Sure.
And so if you're going to do some cardio in your program that also includes strength training, some stuff like doing sleds. Sleds are my one all-time favorite form of doing HIIT or short bursts of cardio. Kettlebell complexes, I've posted videos of some of those that I've done, so go check that on Instagram.com/progressive overload pod. And sprints, hills, bleachers, stuff like that that's going to actually demand more physical strength rather than just the steady state type stuff that does not require a whole lot of strength. So y'all have much experience with any of that kind of stuff?
The last three take me back to my non-athletic days, where my coach probably didn't even know they were doing HIIT cardio. They just wanted us to see us run. But sprints, bleachers, hills, all of those things constitute, a former life of athletics for me.
I remember high school PE, walking into class and then, changed out into our athletic clothes and them saying, all right, we're doing bleachers today. Get started.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then 45 minutes later, I'm not naming names, and I very highly doubt that they find this podcast, but 45 minutes later of them practicing their golf swing, they decided we could stop.
Oh, gosh.
That was fun. And sprints, I've done that some, more so when I was trying to prioritize focusing on my running and improving my running. There were times where I attempted to do sprints as a way to try and improve. I talked to you about this actually on I think I was trying to determine how to run faster maybe, and you advised me to try and do some sprints.
Yeah.
And then hills, not on purpose, but when it's on a 5K course, you can't get away from it.
The best thing is when you can do a sled sprint up a hill.
A sled sprint up a hill.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That makes my stomach hurt just a little bit.
So our high school was on this big, massive hill, and our field house, where our locker room and practice field was on the bottom of that hill. And connecting those two were this like 5 foot wide gutter, and so we did gutters, and we had to run up and down that gutter. It was terrible.
No, thank you.
So what would you say to people that are beyond their athletic prime? And then they look at going, I don't want to do sleds. I can't. I don't have access to a sled. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't want to do sprints, bleachers, or hills, and I don't have a kettlebell. How do I modify?
Yeah, good. So sleds, you can literally strap on. I've seen people get a ratchet strap or some sort connected around their waist, and they just put on the other end something heavy, and they can walk through their yard or walk down the street. Or there's parachutes that you can do. That's a little bit more intense. That wasn't an answer.
There is probably, I would venture to guess, ways that you can work around that list, potentially, and correct me if I'm wrong, to do something body weight related. It's not quite sprints. Maybe it's not like hills or bleachers, like not those things, but can you still do HIIT training?
Sure.
I don't know. I guess maybe I'm struggling in identifying HIIT with cardio specifically, and maybe there's a different level there.
So try to relate it to the heart.
Maybe I'm struggling.
Maybe try to relate it to the heart rate itself instead of the activity. So, if you were to take your walk and then increase the pace of your walk, then that can constitute a sprint. Depending on your age, depending on your activity level.
Very good.
And then bleachers, that may be difficult or even dangerous for some people. And so you want to find a step that you can actually manage and just up downs. Do multiple sets of the same step.
That's a good point, especially like with the sprints concept that you're saying there, because like for the three of us, for example, our sprints would look different, right?
I really want to race y'all. Can we do that?
Does it have to?
Joseph. No, you don't.
I do, man. I want to do.
Now we might have to.
Let's do a 100-meter dash together.
I'm probably going to pull up lame or something at the end.
Or limp.
Yeah, I'll put the brontosaurus dinosaur rumble on. I don't know.
Yeah. No, thank you for coming in. I was trying to think of a physical way to mimic a sled, but yeah, you came in and saved me there with doing anything that's going to spike your heart rate, let it recover, spike your heart rate, or let it recover.
There you go.
But doing that with weights is obviously ideal. Step 4, real fast. This one's pretty easy. Find something that you enjoy and that you love. If you come to me and say, Joe, I love running marathons every weekend and I just don't want to stop. Joe, absolutely do not stop.
Joe,
if you
crazy.
love it. Yeah. I would first off say go see a counselor and then come back to me. No, I'm just joking.
Go get some licensed professional help for that.
No, I just don't want any of this to keep people from doing something that they enjoy, because if you just do a healthy activity that you enjoy, don't stop it. But also understand the physiological processes and the adaptations that are happening in our body whenever we do lots and lots of cardio.
And I think that, listen, I know I put on this like facade that I'm a bragger, right? And
really? I haven't noticed.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Adam. But for me, I feel like I'm a decent example of that, because I genuinely do enjoy running, and I always have, and I enjoy pushing myself in that way. Like I see you guys occasionally when I get this itch and do that Monday morning 6-mile run on the treadmill, and you guys walk in, Adam for your morning workout, and Joe when he gets to work, and I always love it because Adam walks in the door, walks over to the window, peeks through and sees me. He stands there for a second, then he shakes his head, and then he walks in.
I know what's happening.
And he instantly knows. And I always know the second that he does, I always take like one headphone out because I'm listening to music to keep myself going. I'll take one headphone out so I can have a conversation with Adam when he's there, because I enjoy Adam's fellowship.
Good
there.
times.
But I laugh, but it is fun for me. I do enjoy it, and so it's very much something I never want to cut out. Yeah. I want that cardio. I think what's shifted from my initial perspective on it to now is the purpose in which it's served. Yeah. Right? Initially, it was I'm going to run to lose weight. Yeah. And now it's no, I'm going to run to warm up. I'm going to run because I enjoy running. I'm going to fit it in as an extra bit of my workout. Yeah. But it's not going to be the foundation. Yeah. It is going to be something. It's going to be the Legos I place on top of the foundation. It's going to be something that I add on to the foundation, and the foundation has now become strength training. Yeah.
I think we will always win when we think about cardio in order to improve our heart health, improve our lung capacity. We think about strength training and working out as a way to get stronger and build muscle, and we think about eating as a way to lose weight. And so
very good points.
I think if we can get there in our head and not think about what exercise can burn the most calories, that's like if I could get one message out there in the world, that's the one that I would drive home the most. But I did want to hit step 5 or the 5th step real fast, and talk about nutrition for a second while we're talking about our food. The absolute worst thing you can do if your goal is to maintain or build muscle mass is do lots of list cardio while under eating. So just think about what kind of signal that's sending the body. By the way, our body does not sit here and think, oh, Joe's on the treadmill right now, or Joe's running right now for fun. My body is thinking, I'm trying to survive, because that's how our bodies have adapted over the many, many years.
I love this point, by the way.
Okay. Instincts. Your instincts take over. I mean,
and so if we're running, burning tons of energy, and we're not eating, what does your body think about our earliest ancestors? What does our body think that it's going through right now?
It feels like it maybe, obviously there's going to be the starving, but I would guess it puts it into a mode of I have to hold on to what I have because I'm not getting anything to replace what I'm losing.
Our body does not want to burn a lot of calories. We have to hack it by building muscle and eating lots of food. So Adam, you said you said that you love that point.
I do. Explain. That your body doesn't know that you're exercising. Yeah. Because so many times I think this is the mainstream media, we realize and we get this message of you have to exercise.
Yeah.
No, you just have to get your body to adapt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically.
That's all exercise is finding a way to adapt our body in the way that we want it to.
Yeah. That's a good way to look at that.
Yeah.
So we're changing our relationship with cardio, and we're changing our relationship with heart health. Man, we have to change so many different things that we've been taught.
That is such a good point, though, because now the gears are turning in my head. Yeah. Sorry. No, but that is such a good point, because to an extent, then, if we are under eating, if we're under prioritizing like our protein and not focusing on that muscle build within that, essentially because of the way our bodies are designed and wired, we end up fighting the process.
Yeah.
We end up fighting against the goal, going against the grain rather than with it. Mm-hmm. And so we're not making progress or steps towards what we're wanting to achieve. We're holding ourselves back from getting there.
Yeah.
Wow.
And if you think about the progressive overload concept, is if you are burning tons and tons of calories and you're only taking in 1,000 calories, where do you go from there once your body adapts? At some point, you can't run 30 miles a day to maintain that caloric burn that you've adapted your body to.
Right.
And at some point, you can't eat less than 800 calories, or else your hair will start falling out, your skin will go bad, you'll be fatigued, your hormones will jack up.
On the one end, there is going to be a point where you cannot cut any more calories. No. You have to take those calories in. You probably need to take more in. And then on the other end, there is only going to be so much that you can burn.
Yeah.
And I think so many people have this relationship with cardio that the cardio is what is going to get them the results they want on the outside, when it's all about what's happening on the inside.
Yeah.
And I feel like that takes me back to the Old Testament, 1 Samuel chapter 16, where God told Samuel, don't look at his appearance or how tall he is. They were trying to pick a king, and they said, don't look at his appearance or how tall he is, because I have rejected him. God doesn't see as humans see. Humans look at outward appearances, but the Lord looks at the heart. And that's what it boils down to for us. Is cardio is all about what's happening on the inside, and so much less about what is happening in the mirror.
Man, sure.
And so
stinking good. I love that, man. I get excited.
Yeah, I wanted to just kind of wrap it up with that, because that's really what we're after today, is what's happening on the inside of our body, and what relationship do we have with that that's happening on the inside, and that matters spiritually as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. How do you see, whenever you see the outside of it changing in our spiritual life, what does that look like to you?
Fruit.
Yeah.
Because it also, when Jesus is talking about false prophets and beware of, the false prophets, he says you'll know them by their fruit.
Wow.
And so you'll understand your heart is becoming more healthy because of the fruit that you see in your workouts.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of how I see it.
That's so good. That brought me back to, I saw a post yesterday. It basically said something like, when a church is more worried about attendance than discipleship, that is when we're in danger, basically. And so when they're focusing about numbers, and not, am I building disciples? Am I producing fruit in this church?
Right.
When we worry about the things that are, I'm going to use the word visible.
Yeah.
The things that we can see, the things that are almost tangible. We lose sight of the deeper things that aren't as visible, aren't as clear for us to observe, but have a much deeper and meaningful impact.
Yep. Yeah. That's it.
Sweet.
All
Especially it makes you think, right? And Joe, you've said this 1,000 times when we were talking about weight loss. We see the scale, we take note of what the scale says, but sometimes the scale does not always reflect what is really going on.
100%.
My weight may stay the same, but if my pants have gone down like 3 sizes, there has been a change.
Absolutely.
And so, I think that's a good point, and I think it relates really well.
Well, good. Well, I hope that our conversation today on cardio health has been beneficial to you, no matter where you are or how fit or not fit you are. Doesn't matter. You can always start today. And so changing the conversation that you're having with the inside is always starts with the mirror. Look in the mirror and get going. And we want to encourage you to do that. we want to encourage you to check out all of the things that are going on our social media platforms and keep up with Joe is putting out some good
I got that content.
That's what it is. Thank you.
Got that good content.
I didn't want him to have to sing for you, but I'm glad he did.
No, dude, that's been fun trying to grow that. If you want to support us in that, please continue to like, comment, share those posts. I'm trying to reach as many people as possible. Our goal is to just continue to build
your
a community.
Interaction. Just I don't know that people realize, but their interaction, it doesn't only mean the world to us to see that, but it also helps us, or it propels us forward even in being able to reach others.
Yeah. For sure.
And shout out to Joe as we finish up today. He set a new PR. He would never say that because he's just that modest.
I'm so humble.
I know. And so shout out to you. You hit a PR the other day.
I was honored to have you spot me.
Yeah, I'm glad that I was able to do that.
Sweet.
And so my encouragement to all of you, if you're still listening, is go set a PR today.
Yeah. And if you have this, what I call cardio bunnies in your family, in your friend group, if you know somebody who does not have a healthy relationship with cardio, please share this episode with them. I think it will be very beneficial to them. And even if not, keep sharing this episode or our podcast so we can continue to grow.
All right.
Peace out. Let's
See you
go
next
for
time.
a
See you
run.
at the table next week.
All right.
Thanks for listening to the Progressive Overload podcast. We're honored to be a small part of your day. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or are interested in sponsoring our efforts, please feel free to reach out via email. Find us at progressiveoverloadpod@gmail.com. Don't forget to subscribe and follow our podcast so you'll be notified when our next episode drops.
And as always, you can help us reach the masses by sharing our podcast with your friends and family. And then check us out on Facebook and Instagram to follow our own personal journeys and get an inside look on our day-to-day lives.